Hey folks, Rob Franek here, Editor-in-Chief here at the Princeton Review, and today, my friends, we are tackling the AP World History Modern Exam. Now, the College Board, the creators of all things AP, divides world history up into 4 distinct time periods, starting from about 800 years ago right up to present day. So today, we are going to take a look at each one of those periods and discuss the key concepts that you should focus on to prepare for this monumental exam. But first, some advice that applies across all time periods on the exam. And here it is, my friends. Focus on the big picture. In a nutshell, the AP World History Modern Exam is testing your ability to make connections between different societies and different time periods. Now, for every given period, for any given period of time, you should be able to explain who did what and how what they did affected the rest of the world. In other words, focus on the big picture. It will not fail you, my friends. And if you focus on that gloriously grand picture, keep in mind that the College Board is assessing your ability to think critically about 6 key themes. Now, those themes are: number 1, humans and the environment; number 2, cultural developments and interactions; 3, governance; 4, economic systems; 5, social interactions and organizations; and 6, so important, technology and innovation. Friends, as you work your way through time periods, look out for these recurring things. Keeping that big picture perspective as well as you study will help you contextualize the historical events and developments that you'll be tested on. All that said, my friends, and without further ado, let's jump right in. Time period number 1, regional and interregional interactions. Now, the years here are 1200 to 1450. Folks, there are buckets of information to cover during this 250-year period, so let's break it down into a few key concepts. Number 1, you should have an understanding of world religions: Buddhism, Christianity, Confucianism, Hinduism, Islam, Judaism. Aim to focus not only on the theological or philosophical basis of each belief system, but also the impact that those belief systems had on social, political, cultural, and of course, military developments. Next, you'll need to have a firm understanding of the developments within each region of the world, including the Middle East, Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Americas. And folks, you'll need to understand more than just the events that occurred within each region. Remember, big picture is the key here. You'll want to grasp how each region interacted and affected others. Study up on trade networks such as the Silk Road, as well as the intentional expansion of religion through methods like missionary work, as well as religious warfare. You should also review notable global travelers like Xuanzang, as well as Marco Polo, along with major technological innovations that were coming from China and the Islamic world. And just to name a few: paper currency, surgical instruments, the magnetic compass. That brings me to time period number 2, which is global interactions and the rise of Europe. Now, the years here are 1450 to 1750, and in this time period, global interaction increased significantly and Europe emerged as a major player. The exam will assess your understanding of the interactions among regions and cultures, particularly in relation to Europe. Accordingly, my friends, you should spend a good chunk of studying time focused on major European developments from this period, including changes in European thought and expression during 4 key cultural movements: the Renaissance, the Protestant Reformation, the Scientific Revolution, and the Enlightenment. You'll also need to know about European exploration and expansion. Now, that said, advances in map making as well as shipbuilding led to the increase of sea travel and Europeans' discovery of the New World, which in turn helped give rise to the encomienda system, the African slave trade, and of course, the Columbia Exchange and the Commercial Revolution. And finally, be sure to study European rivalries, technological innovations, and the changes to the role that women played during this time. That leads me to time period number 3, and that time period is industrialization and global integration. Now, the years here are 1750 to 1900, and friends, saying that a lot took place between 1750 and 1900 doesn't quite sum it up. I am talking about tectonic occurrences, from Napoleon's attempt to conquer all of Europe to the United States' ascension to world power status. That all said, let's focus on a few key concepts that you'll need to understand from this time period. First, there's the American Revolution and the French Revolution. You should focus on the causes and the consequences for each, and you should be familiar with the independence movements in Haiti and Brazil and Mexico and across Latin America. And of course, as you're studying, look for the connections between all of those events. Remember, the phrase of the day, my friends, is the big picture. And of course, we absolutely cannot forget about the Industrial Revolution, the single biggest event of the time period that affected everything from political and economic developments to technological advances to European imperialism in Africa and Asia to the inclusion of women and children in the workforce. Friends, you'll need to take a deep dive into this historical period and fully understand how industrialization affected both daily life as well as global relations. And that brings us to our fourth and our final time period, and that time period is world wars and globalization. Now, the years here are 1900 to present. Now, from 1900 onward, you'll want to focus on the major global events and wars that took place during the 20th century. You'll want to understand the causes and the sequence of events leading up to World War II, including the murder of Archduke Franz Ferdinand and the formation of key alliances, the Allies and the Central Powers. You should also understand the end result of the war as seen through the Treaty of Versailles. And of course, the creation of the Joint Council of Nations called the League of Nations. Likewise, you should be familiar with the causes and consequences of World War II. Familiarize yourself with Stalin's 5-year plans, the Great Depression, of course, the emergence of fascist power, and finally the rise of Hitler and the Nazi Party. Also, folks, there are key pacts that you should be aware of, including the Nazi-Soviet Pact, the Anti-Comintern Pact, and the Tripartite Pact. Now, of course, the development of the atomic bomb, known as the Manhattan Project, and the detonations of those bombs over Hiroshima and Nagasaki are deeply, deeply important for you to understand. Now, the consequences of World War II, of course, brought enormous global changes, including awareness of the Holocaust and the creation of international organizations like the United Nations, and, well, the start of the Cold War. And speaking of Cold War, study up on the power struggle that emerged between the United States and the Soviet Union after World War II, as well as the ways in which the Cold War and communism affected China and Korea and Vietnam and Cuba and European countries. Folks, there will also be several independence movements and developments in Asia as well as Africa during this period, including the rise and the fall of apartheid, so familiarize yourself with these events. And lastly, spend some time focusing on recent events and development in world history since the 1980s. The rise of the Taliban and terrorist networks like Al-Qaeda, recent terrorist attacks, specifically 9/11, as well as notable global health crises from AIDS to cholera. The exam will even cover events and technological advancements from the 21st century, such as the computer and the internet and social media, so be sure to know all about our most recent history as well. Friends, we've covered a lot of ground. I'm hoping that you enjoyed this video as much as we did making it. If you're planning to take the AP World History Modern exam, please do leave us a comment and let us know how your AP prep is going. And of course, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to our channel for the latest updates on standardized tests and college admissions, study tips, and much, much more. Rob Franek, Editor-in-Chief, signing off for today. Be well, friends.